Coming up next on the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Saturday night, we take a look at tomorrow's WWE Royal Rumble with Be the Booker. A look at the Royal Rumble and whether or not WWE has given us a reason to order it. This week's TNA broadcast, Impact broadcast, and the announcement of the greatest manager of all time. We've also got this week's trivia question, the Event Center, and Star of the Week. All of that right here, right now on PWR Primetime Saturday night on My 24 Milwaukee. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Saturday night. Damian Nelson, now known as Good Old DN, sitting alongside David Octavius Tiberius, the alleged backyard one-time Knockouts Divas.
One time.
Straight edge, hardcore, Hall of Famer, Hero.
Yes.
How are you?
I am fantastic.
You like my hat there? Wednesday on Primetime at PWRshow.com. I got a little gift package from good old JR.
Yes.
A hat, and he's ready to be here on February 22nd. At
Friday
Potawatomi
night.
Bingo Casino for Tales from the Ring.
It's going to be a great night. You get to be the host, I guess.
On
You're the
stage
moderator.
Jim Ross, Mean Gene Okerlund, and Jerry the King Lawler. What a night it's going to be, ladies and
Millions
gentlemen.
of dollars of talent and Damian Nelson all on one stage.
But let's go into this week's WWE report. And this past Monday night on Raw, David Hero, a second inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame, was announced. His name is Bob Backlund.
I cannot believe that Bob Backlund hasn't already been inducted in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the longest reigning WWF champions of all time.
He being WWF, and if you remember, it was right around the time that Vince McMahon Jr. took over the operations of WWE, that Bob Backlund was put back on the back burner in
Dropped the
WWE
belt
after
Adam
running the
Sheik,
company for 7 years.
which then led to the Hulkamania era. But Bob, I honestly, I was shocked. I thought Bob Backlund was already in.
He is not, but he will be joining the Hall of Fame as announced this past Monday night on Raw. Speaking of Monday night on Raw, the question we've been asking and talked about this on Wednesday is, did WWE give us enough hype for the Royal Rumble? Meaning, have they really given us a reason to buy the pay-per-view tomorrow, or are they expecting that the Rumble will sell on its own laurels? Here's one key point. Remember that statistics commercial we saw to nauseam last year? It exists this year, and you didn't see it on Raw. You saw it on some other broadcasts. You saw it online on YouTube and at WWE's website. But that is an amazing piece of business, if you will, to promote the Royal Rumble. And they've only got 10 names announced so far for the Rumble.
Really, if you see Kurt Hawkins' name in there, are you going to buy that? Are you going to believe
Some will.
Tensai? Are you going to believe anybody besides a Sheamus, a Dolph Ziggler, a John Cena, or a Randy Orton
Or a
can win
Cody
the Rumble?
Rhodes, or a Heath Slater, or a...
No, stop. Not gonna, WrestleMania, the
Yeah, they'll
biggest
be on
event,
WrestleMania.
the biggest event of the year. They will not be headlining. The thing that bothered me most about Raw was that the headlining main event is Rock versus CM Punk, and that confrontation wound up in the middle of the show. I think it would have been more effective and would have meant more if they would have gone off the air with Rock being laid out, Shield leaving, Vince McMahon saying, Punk, if Shield interferes, you lose the title, and then go off the air. I don't think we needed to see the primetime players and Cody and Sandow and Daniel Bryan and Kane. We all know what the Royal Rumble match is. They've been doing it for over 20-some years. Send us home wondering, wow, is The Rock going to be ready for the big match on Sunday?
They've put all the eggs, if you will, into the Punk Rock basket. That may not be a bad thing. The Rock is going to sell this pay-per-view. I think they did.
They ended the show with John Cena.
No, I'm
That's
talking
the main.
Overall Rumble hype. It's been all about The Rock. That's not a bad thing. But is it... The Rumble's usually the number 2 bought pay-per-view each year. I don't think that'll be different
Do you know what the interesting thing was? The 3 main eventers of the Rumble are Rock, Punk, and Cena. None of them have had a match in the last couple weeks that has meant anything going into the Rumble, especially the go-home show.
Well, the confrontation continued last night on Smackdown between Punk and Rock. Punk saying in relation to what McMahon said this past Monday night, which is if the Shield got involved, he would be stripped of the WWE Championship. Well, him and The Rock, confrontation. Punk tells the Shield, stay away from that matchup. Punk says he's still standing. Out comes The Rock again for a rock bottom. Punk left standing tall on the last show before Royal Rumble. What, if anything, does that mean, or will we find out later and be the booker?
Well, I think we're definitely going to find out later and be the booker because we're not going to give that away right now. But the interesting thing is The Rock and Punk. Punk and Rock. Rock going to lay down. Punk going to do the job. That's what's telling me on this pay-per-view. Nothing else.
Well, this past Wednesday on WWE Main Event, it was a main event matchup of Antonio Cesaro versus Ryback. This match actually pretty competitive, David Hero, and Ryback goes longer than usual.
It doesn't
and Antonio
make any
Cesaro
sense.
Gets yet another main event spot on Main Event.
Right, but what are they doing with Cesaro? You build them up, Buttercup. You let him beat Great Khali with the neutralizer.
Twice.
You know, and then he does jobs to Randy Orton, and then he does a job to...
Well, The Miz got involved as Cesaro tried to run away.
It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is this. Build the guy up, make him a credible United States champion, and they are not doing that.
Cesaro and Miz are on the pre-show for the Royal Rumble championship matchup.
Why?
Why not?
It shouldn't be. Back in the day when it really mattered, the U.S. champion, the IC champion were always the #1 contenders.
Back when Arn Anderson had it?
To the NWA World Champion and the WWF World Champion. They were top guys. Cesaro is so talented, but they're using him the wrong way.
Speaking of talented, Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow got some time, and they had a lot to say.
Oh, they did great on Friday Night SmackDown.
We're talking about Main Event. You had your chance to talk about SmackDown a moment ago.
I'll go back to SmackDown, all right. There's stuff there.
That's this week's WWE report, ladies and gentlemen. If you're looking for information on what we had to think about WWE Raw this past Monday night, visit us on our website, pwrshow.com. Check out the Wednesday night edition of the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Television. Speaking of Primetime Television, TNA scored a win last week as we go into the Impact Report with the wedding edition of Impact. Not for what necessarily happened on the screen, but for them delivering a solid rating higher than their average for all of 2012 and highest so far this year.
But
however,
who doesn't love a wedding?
Well, this was a match made in hell, though, David Hero, as the wedding did not complete.
People wanted to see Brooke Hogan's dress.
Well, involved and invited to this wedding last week, you saw, in fact, you know what happened. Taz, revealed as a member of the Aces and Eights. And
what is he going to do?
Devon, joins Festus, joins Mike Knox as people who have been revealed so far.
Festus, it's the DOC.
He talked a little bit about, last week right here on this very program, he called him Festus.
That was last week.
Taz did talk a little bit this past Thursday night about his intentions.
He's not going to wrestle.
He's not going to wrestle.
What, he's going to be the evil broadcast announcer now?
But he was the bridge between the Aces and Eights and Jeff Hardy, and an attack which took Jeff Hardy out and actually took him, at least for storyline purposes, off the United Kingdom tour of TNA Wrestling, which started last weekend.
Yeah, interesting about that tour, how heavily Jeff Hardy was advertised to be there.
He was replaced by Sting, suitable replacement. Card subject to change, I understand.
Always subject to change.
Impact is from the United Kingdom next week, and it is open fight night, where Hulk Hogan will also address the situation with Bully Ray. Let's not forget, Bully Ray suspended from TNA Wrestling before the wedding.
It almost reminds me of when the Macho Man begged and pleaded to reinstate Jake the Snake Roberts. Remember that?
I do. So he can get his hands on him.
Yes.
And take the tights off of him that had Elizabeth's face.
No, Jake the Snake, not Ravishing Rick.
Jake had Elizabeth on his ass or something.
No, he did not. That was Jake the Snake. Remember when Jake ruined the wedding?
Yeah.
You know?
Just trying to make sure you remember.
Yeah. Or maybe Macho Man was retired, and then that's what it was. Macho was retired.
Right. Still to come, though, ladies and gentlemen, on the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time, it's Be the Booker for tomorrow's WWE Royal Rumble, the Event Center, the special guest, trivia, and the announcement of the greatest manager of all time. But first, it's this week's Star of the Week. That when we come back, right here on My 24 Milwaukee.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, the insurance company may try to stop you from getting what's fair.
After my car wreck, the insurance company tried to stop me from getting what was fair. I called Gruber Law Offices.
Be careful. Call us right away.
They better be careful. Now I've got Gruber Law Offices.
Call us. Let us get started on your case right now.
They green-lighted my case and got me $100,000.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Call 276-6666.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, prime time, Saturday night. Davey Nelson sitting alongside David Hero, and as we said before the timeout, it's time to find out who this week's Star of the Week is. David Hero, take it away.
This week's PWR Star of the Week is Alberto Del Rio.
Oh, of course.
Well, of course, he had a humongous Friday Night Smackdown, defeating not only the Big Show, but then pinning the endorsed Cody Rhodes to win it for his team in the elimination match on SmackDown. But hey, let's not forget another Star of the Week, our good, close personal friend, Armando Alejandro Estrada, will be at the 33rd Annual Sheboygan Falls Fire Department fundraiser.
Really?
Yes, tomorrow from 1 p.m. until 3 up in Sheboygan Falls at the fire department, signing autographs, kissing babies, giving high fives, and the whole deal.
And we just heard a minute ago, he's also going to be at Karma Saturday,
Yes,
Sunday night
he
for the
will be
Royal
at
Rumble.
Karma. Yeah, it's the Armando Estrada Sunday.
Tremendous, a great way to spend your Sunday. Thank you for that, David Hero. And I don't disagree. Alberto Del Rio had a good showing on SmackDown last night.
And a great showing on Raw.
He got a pin over somebody.
He beat Tensai on Raw.
Finish.
He beat-
And that's more substantial than beating Cody Rhodes.
The size of Tensai is amazing.
And already in the ring, ladies and gentlemen, Tensai.
I'm going to tell him you said that.
You know what? Since 2008, Pro Wrestling Report has brought you weekly radio coverage of both WWE Raw and pay-per-view events. And while we've had a successful run on the radio with over 2 million listens on Blog Talk Radio alone, time has come for us to move on to a new chapter of the Pro Wrestling Report. We're very excited, ladies and gentlemen, to announce a brand new venture from the Pro Wrestling Report called PWR Live. That starts with Sunday's WWE Royal Rumble post-show. PWR is going to be live on air on YouTube, where we are celebrating our 11 millionth view, David Hero.
Well, you know what that means. You can't be doing the show with your face mask on and your neutralizers and creamers.
My face mask.
No, that makeup-y gimmicky thing. You know?
I don't wear makeup.
No, that cleanser.
Concealer.
That whatever it is.
I'm talking. PWR Live with Matthew Thomas, Meathead, and myself launches this Sunday night right after the pay-per-view.
You're serious? I'm not going to be on the show?
Each and every Monday after WWE Raw. It's going to allow you to enjoy PWR much more, along with all the features you've come to love. And they've been enhanced, including the live chat feature. That's this Sunday, 10 o'clock p.m. on our YouTube channel.
You're bringing Meathead
PWR
back.
Live. What do you mean bring
To
him back?
all
He's
of
been on
them.
Sudden Impact every week for the last 2 years.
Well, I know that, but I'm just saying you're putting his face back on TV.
Erase the hate and
I
your jealousy.
don't hate. Come on.
And nor do you appreciate.
But I do potate.
PWR Live this Sunday on YouTube. But let's find out some very good information or interesting information about PWR Weekend in New York and events coming to your area. And let's go to our special guest host of the Event Center this week. Take it away.
Welcome to the PWR Event Center, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. I'm Linda Kay, sitting in for the cause, here to bring you the news on all the latest events coming to the Milwaukee area. PWR wants to thank everyone who came out to Twist of Fate last weekend to see Matt Hardy. GLCW returns to Circle B with Shattered Dreams on Friday, February 15th, featuring Goldust. Tickets available now at blizzardbrawl.com. You can pretty much guarantee that we will see some returning legends tomorrow night at the Royal Rumble, but how about seeing 3 of them live and in person in Milwaukee? Tales from the Ring, the Wrestling Summit, is just a few weeks away. Mean Gene Okerlund, Jim Ross, and Jerry the King Lawler are coming to Milwaukee on Friday, February 22nd at the Northern Lights Theater at Potawatomi Casino. Tickets are on sale now at the Northern Lights Theater box office and at Ticketmaster.com. One night, 3 legends, 1 stage. Big Sexy Kevin Nash is back again to host Shenanigans in the Concrete Jungle on Saturday, April 6th, right after the WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony across the street from Madison Square Garden. That's right, PWR is hosting a Hall of Fame after party in Manhattan, and we are pleased to announce 5 more names added to the event. Revy Sky, Robbie E., Jay Lethal, Rhino, and Matt Hardy have all been added to this very special night. Very few VIP packages remain for this event, so do not delay. Tickets are on sale now at pwrshow.com and are moving fast. Speaking of WrestleMania weekend, the first ever PWR Hall of Fame ceremony will take place Friday, April 5th in Manhattan. We are honored to welcome King Kong Bundy to the Hall of Fame, and we'll be announcing our next inductee next week right here on Primetime. That's it for this week's PWR Event Center. I'm Linda Kay, and we'll see you at the matches.
Wow, what an announcement. We talked about it Wednesday on Primetime. David Hero, Linda making it official.
New York is getting bigger and better every single day.
Which other, who else is going to be in Manhattan? Is it just PWR?
It seems like it. I
gonna
mean,
be a great weekend, ladies and
there's
gentlemen.
other wrestling company with an E in it or something. They're going to be there. Yeah.
ECW?
They're having
Are they
some
back?
big event, WrestleMania. But we'll be there too.
That's in New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the final chapter in our long look at the greatest wrestling manager of all time. And David Hero, there are only two people left on the list, as Captain Lou Albano and Jimmy the Mountain Southhart were eliminated.
Huge eliminations.
That leaves J.J. Dillon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. One of them will be eliminated this week, and we will name...
Both are Hall of Famers.
We will name the greatest wrestling manager of all time, at least as you all have seen it. And let's first talk a little bit about J.J. Dillon, David Hero. J.J. Dillon, the manager of the Horsemen, a man who actually managed the Horsemen.
He
and
did.
With Ric Flair as a member of the Horsemen, they needed a manager. So let's
J.J. Dillon, he's the guy. He's the guy that booked the travel, booked the hotels, booked the limousines, the jet planes, the whole deal.
And again, a real manager, much like Paul Ellering, which we talked about when we launched this series, and a couple more. But, you know, J.J. Dillon probably not on the same level as Bobby the Brain Heenan. Bobby Heenan's one of the most well-known talents in professional wrestling. He started as a wrestler, soon moved over to the managerial ranks, and he guided such stars as Nick Bockwinkel, Big John Studd, the Brainbusters, King Kong Bundy, who's going into the PWR Hall of Fame, Ravishing Rick Rude, Harley Race, Mr. Perfect, Andre the Giant, and of course Ric Flair. A very short list of the names that he was involved with, including Terry Taylor.
Oh, there's the Blackjacks, there's Ray Stevens, the list goes on and on.
Another wrestling manager so directly tied to so many greats in the sport of professional wrestling. If you look at that list of names, Bobby Heenan is pretty much on an island alone with managing so many great names. And we'll never forget, of course, Heenan managing Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3.
WrestleMania 3. Look at all the guys he managed that night. He had the Islanders. He had Hercules Hernandez. He had Andre the Giant. I mean, he had so many costume changes. It was ridiculous.
And we would always think about Bobby the Brain Heenan and always want to see him get what was coming to him. As a matter of fact, he put people in seats in arenas all over the world, people who wanted to see the Weasel get his due. And one can never forget some of the massive beatdowns Heenan got over his career, and more importantly, the fans' responses to them.
Well, Vern Gagne would beat him up, Hulk Hogan would beat him up, the Macho Man, Big Boss Man, Ultimate Warrior
destroyed him in a cage.
Well, remember, he beat him at County Stadium here in Milwaukee.
WrestleFest 88.
The Crusher was there. They threw him in a monkey in a weasel suit afterwards. Fantastic stuff.
Well, fans voted on our Facebook page all month long, and it's time to announce the winner, who received 62% of your votes, and my vote as well, quite frankly. And with so many great names on the list, the greatest manager of all time is none other than the man who received the first ever PWR Lifetime Achievement Award in 2009, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Well deserved, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the greats. If you get the opportunity, get one of Bobby's books and read the Road Stories. Fantastic.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Bobby the Brain Heenan. The greatest series will continue here on the Pro Wrestling Report, and we'll announce our next category next week right here on the broadcast. Well, David Hero, there is so much more to do here in this broadcast, including be the booker for tomorrow's WWE Royal Rumble. But right after these short messages, we're going to do that along with trivia with, well, another special guest this week.
Another one?
Why not? Trivia after this.
and welcome to this week's PWR Trivia. I'm Linda Kay, and let's find out who won last week's trivia contest. Last week's question was, at what event did Vader debut for the World Wrestling Federation in 1996? The answer, the Royal Rumble. Congratulations to last week's trivia winner. This week's question is, who is the only person to appear in the ring on WWF Raw and WCW Nitro at the same night? Know the answer? Be the first to send it to us via email to trivia@pwrshow.com, and you will win a WWE DVD. Only viewers from the My24 Milwaukee viewing area qualify for PWR Trivia. I'm Linda Kay, and that is this week's PWR Trivia.
Still no Rachel. But I'm fine with Linda. Linda gets she's a sit-in. She's like a seat filler.
What?
Welcome to Be the Booker, ladies and gentlemen, for tomorrow night's WWE Royal Rumble on pay-per-view. And what a way to close out the show, David Hero. Big announcement earlier on youtube.com/MaxSports. PWR Live debuts after the Royal Rumble.
The post show
but
here.
There are 3 matches outside of the Royal Rumble matchup itself that we are going to talk about. The first of which being for the Tag Team Championships of the World. Team Hell No defending their titles against the Rhodes Scholars. Now both Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow, members of the Nelson family, along with Daniel Bryan to your Kane.
You know, I have Damian Sandow as well. Let's not.
You had Damian Sandow to replace somebody as an injury. Yes, correct. You have Cody.
Talk about that right now.
Because you've tried to ruin his career.
Talk about the tag team title match, Kane and DBD against Sandow and Rhodes. You got to figure Rhodes and Sandow are.
Will win. Thank you very much. Good selection, David Hero.
Tag gold. Because they've just been doing the jobs the last few weeks.
JOBPPV?
The JOBB on the
They
PPV.
won on main event. You don't listen to me? We talked about that at the top of the program.
When they have had matches with Team Hell No. But at the same time, Monday Night Raw, Team Hell No hugged it out and they graduated their class. You would like to believe that they still have that momentum going forward. I'm going to go with Team Hell No.
And new tag team champions.
Team Hell No needs to retain. They can drop the titles next month to Rhodes Scholars. Or on Monday Night Raw for all that matter. But hey.
What's this part of the marker called?
The eraser. But I'm the pencil. That's the big difference. Let them win the title in Las Vegas in some type of Raw roulette match.
World Heavyweight Championship will be on the line. It is a last man standing match. It is a rematch as Big Show attempts to reclaim what he believes is his. That is the World Heavyweight Championship. And the man holding that title right now, his opponent tomorrow night at the Royal Rumble, Alberto Del Rio.
ADR up against the Big Show, last man standing. You know it's going to be brutal. You know it's going to be vicious. You got to wonder when ADR retains his World Championship, will he be battered and bruised enough where Dolph Ziggler might want to cash in at the Royal Rumble? If I'm booking, I don't have Dolph Ziggler cash in his title at his title match at the Rumble, but ADR will leave Phoenix, Arizona, as the World Heavyweight Champion.
You're saying no cash in?
No cash in. I would save it for the Elimination Chamber when the champion during that match is truly destroyed.
Last man standing. He could destroy Del Rio in this matchup. Del Rio could still win, but Big Show could destroy him in this matchup.
Listen, not now. Not yet.
Well, the countdown is over, at least as it pertains to The Rock's opinion of the streak of CM Punk's WWE Championship reign. And that is tomorrow night, pay-per-view, the Royal Rumble. CM Punk defends the WWE Championship against The Rock. The Rock, the Brahma Bull, on the Royal Rumble for the first time in a very long time. This match will be interesting. Who and how do you see this going down, knowing that if the Shield interferes, CM Punk loses his WWE Championship? David Hero?
There is no way on God's green earth does The Rock lay down for CM Punk. He is the headlining main event. He is the largest star in the company. He will go to WrestleMania, headline WrestleMania, as our WWE champion, The Rock.
You said lay down. CM Punk just has to walk out winning the matchup, with his championship, which means he can lose by disqualification, he can lose by countout, and still be WWE
what a
champion.
Heartbreak that would be. I can't imagine The Rock would come back for that kind of a finish.
Does it or does it not fit? Does it or does it not fit the theme of CM Punk's victories for the last several months?
Well, of course, and you know what? At the same time, I would not be surprised if CM Punk does in fact retain and say the streak. He beat the Great One, beat The Rock, but that's going to be left up for John Cena.
The Royal Rumble matchup itself, ladies and gentlemen, only a few names have been announced. We are going to focus on the men who could possibly win this matchup. And David Hero, I think you just alluded to it. It looks like all signs are pointing to a John Cena win of the Royal Rumble.
If I'm booking the Rumble, I have Dolph Ziggler come out at number 1, John Cena comes out at number 2. Those two guys battle the entire Rumble, only for John Cena to eliminate Dolph Ziggler to go to WrestleMania and battle The Rock.
Which means a scenario could develop where if CM Punk gets a disqualification win over The Rock, John Cena may be the man to cause that. Springboard this Rock Cena 2 if it is going to happen.
It very well could. And I'll be watching the Rumble with my good friend Armando Alejandro Estrada at Karma Bar and Grill, 600 East Ogden. Get there early. It's going to be sold out.
This Royal Rumble pay-per-view, we've talked about its challenges, but it shall probably be a success. As a matter of fact, I've got this feeling, I've got this sneaking suspicion that this will be a long-discussed Royal Rumble event because of the way they are going to aggressively set up WrestleMania, which is coming up from New York, New Jersey. As said earlier, ladies and gentlemen, we will discuss the Royal Rumble in its entirety live on YouTube, youtube.com/MaxSports. It's the channel of the Pro Wrestling Report on YouTube. We will be live broadcasting on YouTube starting right after the Royal Rumble goes off the air, 10 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Where is the DWHS moment of the night, or do you not have the cojones to make one?
John Cena.
Well, that is that, ladies and gentlemen. That is also this week's
the rest of the show
edition
is
of the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night. We'll see you Sunday on YouTube after the Rumble. Thank you so much for tuning in.